Hey everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. I am Lianne Russo Liddell, Associate Broker and Realtor with Occasio Realty, and today I am here with a wonderful friend of mine named Rocio Francis. She is the owner of Morning Mist Soap Company, and her company is a wonderful company that specializes in handcrafting, all natural, vegan, paraben-free, fragrance-free products and in using locally sourced and responsibly harvested ingredients, plus the added benefit of no plastic packaging, which makes me really excited. So thanks so much for joining me, Rocio. So let's just dive right in and get to know more about you and your business. So tell me a little bit about your business and how you got started.
So, like I was mentioning before, and obviously it's all over my website. I try and, bring it to everybody. Like, if I'm a billboard, here you go, So I grew up and we are all here. We are natives to Arizona. And I know that's kind of rare to hear, but we've been here. We're not leaving anytime soon. Um, so growing up, I have always lived this, I would just like to say indigenous way of living. That's just how our culture is. It's very tied to the earth, our respect for the earth, how we are energetically tied to everything from the
Hmm.
sky to the soil. And growing up and having that belief, sometimes with, of course, just the way our culture is, modern society, you lose that.
Hmm.
Um, and having children really brought me back to wanting to relive and re-implement those beliefs for my future generations to come when I become an ancestor myself.
That's
So
awesome.
having that kind of highlighted, like, oh, it'd pop up every now and then, and I'd be like, okay, but what am I doing? How can I do
Hmm.
this? I would search for products that I wanted, and when something is not there, you have to create it yourself. So
Hmm.
I kind of created my own way of living, and my business is a jack of all trades. So if you want something that's palm oil free, it's vegan, there's it's zero waste, plastic free. I make sure that all of my ingredients, that if I can harvest them myself, then that's what I'm going to do. If I can get it from my mother's backyard, then that's what I'm going to do. If I can find it at a farmer's market or even somewhere that's, locally sourced in a different city or, in, say, Buckeye, Arizona, then that's what I
Hmm.
want to do. Um,
Awesome.
yeah, having that belief system and getting started was definitely a journey for me because I felt like everything in the corporate world was fighting against me because I don't have a lot of money for marketing.
Sure.
But getting started and hearing my ancestors behind me is what really kept me going.
That's awesome. I love hearing about that.
Thank you.
Um, so I know obviously COVID has made things different for everyone. There's no denying that. But what are some of your goals for the next year?
So, my goals for the next year, well, one of them I've already started, rebranding myself.
Okay.
I wanted to create a brand that was not only representing my culture as a Navajo and Pueblo woman, but also implementing the simplicity and the beauty of simplicity in my company. Because I don't need basically, a circus show or,
Sure.
fancy packaging and all of this shebang in order to be respected and to be seen as a small business. So the rebranding was definitely one of them. A second one is to master batch. So right
Okay.
now I do small batch soaps and small batch deodorants, everything in little, little batches. But my second goal is to basically start master batching a minimum of 400 ounces of soap. That
Oh,
way
okay.
I can start doing more donations and freelancing to create packages for people, which I already do, but it costs a little bit more because I do less for homeless shelters or for people on the reservations or for even just everyday people that aren't aware of bar soap, at least artisan bar soap or um, waste-free or plastic-free deodorant, because you see that and you think, oh my God, it's going to burn my armpits. But, the more I can make, the more I can learn how to make it less exclusive and for a wide genre of people without
Okay.
it affecting me personally as a business where I'm like, hey, I can't afford to do it as much as I'd like to. And my third goal that I have for this next freaking, like, I guess you can say a year. It feels like this is a never ending story with COVID, but
Yes.
um, yeah. But since we moved into the new house, I would like to have a wide variety of fresh herbs to
Ooh, okay.
sell with my products. Like, here's a tincture for free that you can have, and teach classes on how to do this. So
Okay.
that's definitely a next goal of mine.
That's awesome. What are some herbs that, you've found useful or something that like you would want to share with people?
So I'm actually, the way I harvest my herbs, I'm learning to do a land recognition, which I strongly suggest everybody do. Every herb on this earth is a medicine to indigenous peoples on this land. And if you respectfully harvest them and you do your research, or say you go to reservations or powwows or get-togethers, and you educate yourself, you'll see that even the plainest of sight bush may have some type of medicinal way of living, an aspect of, for instance, a lot of people love the way creosote smells.
Hmm.
I love using creosote as an example because everybody sees it somewhere in a bush, because we live in the desert. It
Right.
smells like rain. Um, but that's actually the nation that is going through the separation of the border right now, the Odam nation. That is a medicinal herb to them, and they use it
Okay.
for in prayer for
Okay.
ceremony, but they also use it like to help with stomach issues, with skin issues, and stuff like that. And I would say, along with creosote, because that's a medicinal herb, you also can find kitchen herbs that work very well. You can grow those and you can use them for antiseptics, bacterials, antifungals, rosemary, different types of sages,
Okay.
thyme, tea tree, stuff like that. And even if I can bundle them and create tinctures for people, just to slightly educate them on, hey, this is the respect of, a flower that we should have. And this is what it can do for your body, just to break away from Western medicine and
Hmm.
pharmaceuticals, and just kind of retouch everybody with that loving aspect and respect for the earth itself.
I love that. I definitely wish that I could grow plants, but maybe you could
Okay.
maybe you can teach me.
Yeah, oh God, well, it's hard.
Even rosemary didn't
Yeah.
work for me, which is pretty hard to not make work, but like, I don't know, I must not have put it in the right light or too much light or who knows, but that's really interesting for me to hear kind of the backstory and the rationale behind that with,
Yeah.
loving kindness towards the earth.
Oh
So
yeah.
thank you for sharing. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Um, on a more personal note, what are some of the things that you like to do in and around Phoenix?
Well, right now, if say this is like pre-COVID,
Normal
I
normal times, sure.
yeah, normal times, because right now I just love binge watching Netflix, and Grubhub. But recently, or pre-COVID, I've been trying to support smaller coffee shops and stuff like that. And I have some of my soaps inside of a couple coffee shops or like a wine shop.
Okay.
So there's Phoenix Coffee in downtown Phoenix. I love hopping around the Churchill. You see these little tiny shops here and
Hmm.
there, and honestly, just discovering new places, which is kind of intimidating at first because you're like, whoa, I don't even know if this is gonna taste good. Like, what are these, you know, menus? Like, what are these ingredients that they're putting together? And I'm kind of a picky eater, but I love eating. So, I just kind of drop myself into whatever section of Phoenix or, say Sun City, and I find a new restaurant and I try and indulge myself in that and get to meet everybody that works there. I know that
Awesome.
sounds a bit like overly social, but helping small businesses like that is definitely fun.
That's awesome. I love it. Do you have a favorite restaurant that you really love?
Uh, it is actually off of 16th Street in Indian School, and I think it's called La Santísima. I don't know
The,
if you've
the
ever been there.
taco shop? Yeah, it's,
Yeah. Oh God.
yeah.
So that that restaurant is actually based off of the city that my grandmother is from, which
Oh,
is
that's so cool.
Guadalajara, Jalisco.
Okay.
Uh, and we when I look for Mexican food and I'm like, okay, I don't want it to be like Americanized Mexican food. Like I want to taste something really good. I need to make sure that when I leave here I'm like overly full and I want a nap, right? So that taco shop is definitely like the best taco shop that I've been to.
They do have really good tacos, and I like the kind of art piece that comes out of the top um, of the building that they have. It's cool. It's
Yeah.
funky, but that's
Yeah.
why,
Yeah.
I like Phoenix so much is because there is a lot of funky stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Now I learned a little bit about the taco shop too, so
Yeah.
that's awesome. um, when you're not working, what are some things that you like to do?
Oh, I love camping.
Okay.
Fishing, I'm learning the patience for. Other than taking care of the kids and, dedicating my life to them, I really try to, I love drawing, I love painting. I try and implement, so I used to do watercolor
Okay.
painting, but I'm taking my watercolor painting yearn to paint on canvas, but take that to my soap. So you'll
Oh,
see some of
okay.
my soaps that represent a sky or some type of weird floral design.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really pushing it too. So hopefully one day I can be like the Bob Ross of soap making.
That's awesome. Yeah, I've seen, some of the molds that you've used have been really
Yeah,
neat, or just like the texture and kind of like the swirling of the colors and
yeah.
how they complement each other is really, really
So
cool.
fun.
So, yeah, I myself am not artistically talented, but I definitely can appreciate it in other people.
Yeah.
Um,
You're like, I'll step back and I'll look.
yeah, so I mean, if my daughter's going to need help with art projects, you know, I don't know, it's going to be tough.
Yeah.
But I can admire it in other people. So that's really cool. Um, as far as, your business, is there anything that's exciting going on or coming up or anything that you want people to know about?
Yeah, so right now, with my rebranding, I'm also going to be making sure that I come out with new stickers, a soap stamp.
Ooh,
So my
cool.
soap stamp is just going to be in all of my soaps, but it's going to be a little bit more of a storyteller.
Okay.
My design has um, a legend of the Spider Woman in the Navajo culture, which
Oh,
represents I'm not really sure if you've heard of the Spider Woman,
I
but she
haven't. Tell
basically
me.
creates a web. It's an elder story, so she creates a web to protect her people and to protect the land. And I think, and I try to implement these stories of my culture into my products, and I feel like I'm implementing that protection of my people and the creatures inside of our earth with my products. So that's also something that it just excites me to share a piece of history and reclaiming our land and our stories, and to just implement that in everyday in your in your children's lives and anybody else's in our future generations. That just excites me so much because um, you're taking a part of history and hearing it from the person that has been here, and our roots and our lives are so intertwined in everyday life, but here we are reviving it and
Mm-hmm.
sharing with future generations and future stories for that. So yeah, and another thing that I'm super excited about, the Churchill reopened, stores are reopening. That means more of my products will be out in the public and live in the wild. So if you
That's
guys want to,
awesome.
yeah, that means also hopefully a little bit more pop-up events. I
Okay.
have one in the works, so more details are to come. It's in December.
Okay. Cool.
I love doing pop-up events around this time because a lot of people are gift shopping.
Yes.
So, and the way I view it is if you love the earth so much and you're on this journey of being waste free, plastic free, and all of that, give that same type of love that you'd want for the earth and give it to someone that you love to show them your way of living because it's so important to everybody. And if it's
Absolutely.
as important to you, then it should be that important to someone else.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing the pop-up events that come up for you and getting out and taking a look.
Yeah.
So I
Thank
really appreciate you talking to me, Rocio. And again, thanks to
you.
everybody else for watching. Once again, my name is Lianne Russo Liddell, Associate Broker and Realtor with Occasio Realty. And if you have a business that wants to be featured, go ahead and reach out to me today. And all of Rocio's information is going to be linked in the interview as well. So you can reach out to her directly that way. So
Yeah.
thanks, Rocio.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Bye.
Bye.